So certainly for ICU Medical, we operate our supply chain out of the Netherlands, and the biggest concern for us is continuing to serve our customers in the UK in a timely manner. So at the moment we have delivery times of 24 hours, and obviously any interruption to that will cause substantial issues for our customers. So we're looking at building UK stock. We currently don't have a warehouse in the UK, so we're looking to partner with people in the UK to get stock in here, and also talking to our customers about them holding sufficient stock should the need arise.
I think the things that concern me most about Brexit is the lingering uncertainty, and particularly around a hard and abrupt Brexit. That would pose some significant challenges to a business like ours in terms of customs procedures and compliance to regulatory requirements that are currently set down by the European Union.
I think the biggest concern for Tangletees and for Brexit, from my point of view in my role, it's looking at the uncertainty with regards to delivering continentally. 80% of our business is continental work, so obviously if there's any changes within the ports, if there's any changes to tariffs or going to the WTA trade organisation rules, we need to understand the exact limit of any issues that are going to occur before they happen, ideally. Obviously the whole area at the moment is pretty up in the air and uncertain, but events like this certainly help focus the mind on the possibilities that are out there and any sort of assumptions we need to make to mitigate the risks that we're going to face in the months ahead.
So from this morning's session, the most useful and important part was just to see that people are in the same position as I feel my business is in, which is just uncertainty. I think that's the biggest take from today, is everybody is trying to plan and mitigate a risk, plan for and mitigate a risk, not knowing what exactly it is. So in my position, it's waiting for a number from my business in terms of if we're going to upscale production, what do we need to do? So we've got to go through a fair few cloudy calls, really, because we don't know exactly what is out there and what's going to happen. I think, judging by the people here attending here today, they've got the same issues with Europe into the UK, so an import problem. We export a lot as well, but we've got other streams that I'm not involved in sort of dealing with that, so it's not one of my watch-outs, but certainly from an import perspective it's mine, and it's uncertainty, really. It's clarified that for me.
I think the most interesting part for me is understanding different companies' perspectives on everything. That's why I love coming to these meetings, because it gives me the opportunity to network and hear how people in other industries and also in similar industries are reacting to different challenges.
So the most interesting thing this morning was the macroeconomic overview that was covered by Hamish. I found it interesting because it explained things that I hadn't considered from a Brexit point of view. Yeah, very interesting. I also enjoyed the interactive part of the day as well. It was very good.
I think the most useful thing for delegates today was having the time out of their day-to-day world, which can sometimes be quite focused on the short term, to think about the longer term. And the three presentations really gave them some framework to have that discussion. So, Hamish's presentation around Brexit and the economics of Brexit, as well as the politics of Brexit, and what that might mean not just for the exit itself on March the 29th, but what will happen beyond Brexit, what the landscape will be like beyond Brexit, the opportunities and the vulnerabilities, and to talk about that in multi-company groups. Really was quite challenging for people, I think, initially, but people really warmed up to that opportunity and got a lot out of working in those multiple company groups and reaching some conclusions about that. I think the Oliver White piece gave them the framework to take back to their business around, well, how do we reach consensus about the assumptions, and how do those assumptions really drive action? Because everybody talks a lot about Brexit and what it's going to mean to them personally, what it's going to mean to their business, but actually nailing that into something tangible that we are going to put ourselves behind, we're going to reach consensus about the way forward, and we know that we don't have to make that decision once and for all. we can refine our plan as we go forward. I think that's quite empowering, and people seem to really warm to that.
I think one of the most useful things people got out of the session today was a context for Brexit that allowed them to see both the short-term and long-term implications of the impact of Brexit, and possibly a degree of optimism that the longer term was really directional in any case, and that path is already happening, and Brexit is an event along that path. I think they also saw that IBP as a process is a mechanism to help them to manage that transition through both the medium and the long term, and to build those plans against their strategy.
I'd highly recommend it. It's been very thought-provoking and a great opportunity to talk through serious issues with fellow professionals.
I would say to someone who hasn't been to an event, come along. You're definitely going to learn something. You'll meet great like-minded people through the networking channels. It's certainly a worthwhile event to attend.